Hey, how's it going? I'm your pal Mike Squires. This is the Couch Riffs podcast, episode number 225. My guest, Brandon Yeagley of Crobot. Crobot has a new album coming June 3rd called Feel This. Check out the latest single. It's called Better Times. It's killer. This is a band that's been around working hard, hustling hard for a long time. They're so fucking good, and I feel like they're like on the verge of getting their due. But kind of has felt like that for a while, right? Mr. Big thinks so, don't you, buddy? Um, they are on tour at this moment, right now, through toward the end of June. Right now, they're out with Danzig and Cradle of Filth. Check their website for dates. Um, but they are traveling all around the country playing shows. What a killer bill! What a that must be. That's going to be a really good time. So I hope that you enjoy this conversation. I had a great time hanging with Brandon. If you're enjoying the Couches podcast, as always, please support us at Patreon, patreon.com/Couch Riffs. Your support is huge, 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 huge. It is what makes this happen. It allows basically all of the facilities that make this happen. So I thank you very, very, very much for your support. Check out Brandon singing on the Yes song Starship Trooper. He fucking nailed it. Um, and that video was a year in the making. He came along and kind of saved the day when I really needed a singer, and I don't think I could have done any better. He's amazing. So be sure to check out that video. It's also a benefit for roadie relief. Check that out too. Let's see. Also, I would like to thank a couple of sponsors before we get into the conversation. I want to thank River City Guitars in Spokane, Washington. River City Guitars is an appointment only guitar store, vintage, used, boutique guitar store. Every day is a buying day. If you have a single guitar, a collection, amps, whatever it is, vintage, cool, unique stuff, get a hold of them, sales.rivercityguitars@gmail.com. Also, follow them on Reverb. They have, I mean, Bobby just sent me photos of a bunch of killer guitars, Hamers, Gibsons, vintage Hamers, 70s, 80s Hamers. Um, that he just hauled home. So those things will eventually be making their way up to the Reverb. Follow them there and you will get notifications. Those things go like hotcakes. They're going to go quick. So I sold my vintage Hummingbird through Bobby at River City Guitars, so I can't give a higher recommendation. There you go. Thank you so much, River City Guitars. Be sure to go visit them. They're great, 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 great folks. I also would like to thank Variety Coffee Roasters in Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn, New York. Variety Coffee has a number of cafes in Brooklyn and in the city. Go check those out if you live in the city, if you live in New York, or if you're visiting. For sure, go check it out. I drink Variety every morning without fail, unless I'm traveling and I don't have it with me. But at home, I always do. And you know why I always have it? Subscription. Go check out varietycoffeeroasters.com, click a couple buttons there, and get your subscription set up. They'll send you coffee every week, every 2 weeks, every month, whatever you need, as much as you need or as little as you need, so that you never wake up and start your day shitty without coffee. No one wants to drive somewhere to get coffee when they need it first thing. Subscription. Sign up for a subscription over there. Follow them on social media at Variety Coffee Roasters. That's it. Thank you, Variety Coffee Roasters. You guys are the fucking tops. Okay? We're going to get into the conversation. Thank you so much for listening, leaving positive reviews, sharing, liking, all that other bullshit. I really appreciate it. It helps a lot. And there's nothing there's nothing I love more than not having to say that, but unfortunately, I have to remind you guys sometimes because I need it. I need that kind of help out in the digital world to make all the digital gears turn. So thank you so much. We're going to jump into the conversation now. Thank you a million times. Don't forget the golden rule. Treat people the way you want to be treated, and just try your best to not be a dick. Welcome to Couch Riffs.
Hey, it's nice and comfy here.
It's cozy, right? Couches.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where you sink down real low when you sit down. It's like
one of those 90s basement game room couches.
Exactly. You're going to find a lot more than quarters under there.
I hope so. Hopefully not empty roach clips. It's a Sunday morning. You're an early riser.
Yeah, yes, sir.
You're even look fresh for Sunday morning.
I'm fresh. I got my workout in. I got my workout shake. I chugged it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm nice and showered up. So this is the freshest you'll see me.
Ever.
Ever.
Nice. Well, thanks for making time on a Sunday morning.
Of course.
Yeah. You're in Austin?
I'm in Austin now. I live in Pennsylvania, but this is where we start tours from.
Got it.
Yeah, we're getting ready to head out. Actually, tomorrow we're hitting the road with Danzig and Cradle of Filth. So should be a great tour. But this is where we start. This is kind of Crobot home base right now.
Is that a U.S. tour?
Yeah. Yep.
That's killer.
Yeah, we'll actually be in Ontario. I want to say the fourth or fifth.
Yeah.
And Danzig's actually doing Lucifuge from front to back that date. So
Are you serious?
Gonna be a good one. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Let me know if you want to come out.
Well, I'm near Albany, New York.
Oh, okay. I thought you were West Coast for some reason.
Yeah, no, did you say Ontario though?
Ontario, California.
Oh, I used to fly in and out of that airport.
Yeah.
What venue is in Ontario, California?
Oh,
is there some sort of new?
It's a theater of some kind. Oh. The name escapes me.
It's a great airport.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like you've flown in out of Burbank before, right?
No, I've never actually flown. I don't think I've ever flown into LA or Burbank or
what?
Surprisingly, yeah. It's always drive there.
Right. Wow. Good for you.
Fortunately or unfortunately, I'm not sure. I've heard horror stories of both, so
LAX is the worst airport ever. The worst.
I don't know. Philly's pretty bad.
No, it's worse, dude.
Yeah.
It is definitely worse. I have to ask you first. Are you holding a day gig? Did I see you doing some sort of pole work or line work? Did you post a photograph?
Yeah, a video. Yeah, I was actually hanging a 50-foot net at a landfill. It's like a litter net. That's what I sometimes get roped into doing in the off season, as they say.
Right. So you had a lot of climbing gear on. Is that your day job stuff, or like I'm intrigued?
It's whatever the boss throws at me. Sometimes I'm painting in the office. Sometimes I'm 50 foot up in a skyjack, hanging a litter fence.
That's crazy.
Sometimes I'm running network cable. It's just a happy hodgepodge of odd jobs that I get. Which I call job security because I get the jobs that nobody else wants to do.
That's awesome. So you live in the middle of Pennsylvania?
Yeah. Pennsyltucky, as we say.
Pennsyltucky. You're near Allentown, is it true?
Yeah, I'm about 40, 50 miles from Allentown.
What was that club there? Was it called the Crocodile Rock?
Croc Rock. Yep, Crocodile Rock. Yep.
I played there a few times.
It is no more.
And it was like It was the right kind of rock. It was like what you wanted a rock club to be like, right?
Yeah, dirty, dingy. Yeah, it was a good time. I've seen a lot of shows there growing up. Even in my later days, they're great. Many shows there. Um, I almost died in a Static X mosh pit.
Is that right?
Not really, but I'm exaggerating a bit. But
You took a spill.
It was one of those where you're like, oh, you're getting tossed around the entire time, and by the end of it, we're like, I'm dead, bro.
Right. How do you well, let's start like this first. Let's start from the beginning. When did you start playing music, and when did you decide this is like I want to dedicate myself to this as much as I can?
I started playing when I was like 14, 15. I've been a huge fan of music since, day one. There's a story all the time that my uncles tell me about me being like 4 or 5 years old and rummaging through record stores and being able to point out an Ozzy Osbourne record by the cover. This is before I could even read.
Right.
So it started young, but actually playing, I was like 14, 15. I begged my dad to get me a guitar, a Squire box set that came with the amp.
Yeah.
Got it from like Sam's Club or something.
Right.
And, just one of my buddies was playing guitar at the time, and he's like, yeah, hey, why don't you come over and we'll jam some stuff. And we like learned some AC/DC songs. He taught me some AC/DC songs, and my uncles actually played guitar. So it's kind of been in the family, but I sort of gravitated towards it on my own. And I was in high school, like 15, 16 years old, playing out at bars, just threw myself to the wolves before I was even good enough to do it.
Right.
Really,
that's the way to do it.
Right.
So your uncles were into Ozzy and stuff like this?
Oh yeah. I had a healthy upbringing of rock and roll. Dio, Uriah Heep, Blue Oyster Cult, like even some stuff that is sort of under the radar, like COC, Orange Goblin. Like I remember listening to Coup de Gras by Orange Goblin when I was like 12 years old.
Right.
So, these were down, like, just all these awesome bands that I still love to this day. I was thankfully given and influenced by family members and had a heavy upbringing of that stuff.
Your uncles, they were more hobbyists?
Well, actually, my Uncle Randy, he owns a guitar shop to this day. Still gives lessons and the whole nine. So it's still there. My Uncle Charlie still plays every once in a while. He does, like, around Christmas time, they do like a TSO tribute sort of thing. So it's pretty cool. It's in the family. It's in the blood for sure.
Oh, they must be so stoked and proud of you.
Yeah, they are. And it's great because, conversation never runs thin with those guys. We always talk shop. So
that's amazing. When did you start singing? Was that primary or secondary to your music?
I started right away, only because I knew that it would be the easiest thing to be able to sing and play, to just learn it right away. And I was not good at all. I worked hard to be where I'm at today, for sure. I remember, playing in my bedroom, and when we played with the band I was in high school, I was singing and playing. It was a 3-piece. I was the guitar player and singer, and I remember my dad saying to me, "Buddy, maybe you want to think about getting somebody else to sing." And it was like, that's all it took. It was like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to work real hard to get this. So it ended up being the primary,
What was the thing that Was it confidence on the microphone where you just weren't projecting, or was it technical, like pitchy stuff?
It was technical, pitchy stuff. I was trying to be Ben Burnley from Breaking Bad. They're the hometown heroes from where I'm from, and that was the big thing at the moment, and that's what we were into as kids, heavily, and that the radio rock world, and I just tried to imitate as much as I could. And thankfully grew up on the verge of the YouTube generation, so I had opened this Pandora's box of just um, illegally downloading some voice lessons and going
Oh,
on
wow.
YouTube, and just I would try to be a sponge and try to soak in all that sort of information that I could find, read books, and I just made it my due diligence to figure it out.
No technical, like no proper voice training?
Not really. I took lessons, like maybe 3 or 4 lessons in high school from our chorus teacher. Realized that wasn't really the avenue for me. And then I went to college. I went to bounce around colleges a bit, and actually took a few lessons from an opera singer and
Oh, wow.
an opera teacher. And she sort of said to me, she's like, I don't really know if there's anything I can do for you. You've already got this range that I don't know how you do it, but you're already doing it. So whatever you're doing, is working. I mean, we can continue lessons here, but I don't know that I'm going to really teach you anything. And I was like, wow, I'm glad to hear the honesty. But, I think that was sort of the little bit of confidence that I was searching for, and that I needed.
Right.
Because I just kept plugging away, and I had the confidence to get up there and do it without being good at it, but never had the confidence of actually feeling like I was making really any progress, So it was good to hear that sort of feedback. But I mean, like I said, other than just like finding voice lessons online and stuff, that's really what I gravitated towards, like, the rock and roll singer style.
You ever bust your old man's
voice
balls
lessons.
about the singing comment?
All the time, all the
Because I
time.
would if I was
But he
you.
loves it. He was such a proud papa.
Yeah.
So he made up for it for sure.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And he's the one who led me to Dio, so I can't knock him
Oh,
too
really?
hard. Yeah. Oh,
sick.
yeah. Huge Dio fan. I mean, and I'm talking like Rainbow. Like, I grew up with Rainbow Dio.
Killer.
Like, that was Dio to me. I kind of discovered solo Dio later on, and even Black Sabbath Dio way later on. Like, I'm talking like 10 years ago, Black Sabbath Dio. I love Dio, but it just took me a little while to get into Dio Black Sabbath for whatever
Did you
reason.
get into that Heaven and Hell album that they put out like 12 years ago?
Oh, love it. I love
so
it now.
Good.
Oh my God, Bible Black, that's still one of like my all-time favorite Dio songs.
I think it's incredible.
Yeah.
There are people who...
Yeah, the Journeys, I mean...
I don't understand people who don't like that album. It's like...
Oh, it's so good.
It's amazing.
So good.
Is Crobot the first band you've been in that has toured and gone and like done it, so to speak?
I've been in touring bands before, but never to this scale. Actually, when I was 18, I was, just fresh out of high school. I think I may have already had a year of college under my belt and quit, and was like, nah, you know what? I'm ditching class to play guitar in my dorm. I probably shouldn't be spending this kind of money just to do what I can do in my own living room. So the band I was in at the time was like, this is in my pop punk days. And, you know, it was very rock and roll. We were just traveling around the US in a conversion van, sleeping on the roof,
Sure.
you know, that kind of thing. I had $8 to my name to spend on food for the week. One of those things. We were getting baths and creeks.
Wow.
It was real low life rock and roll stuff, but I loved it. I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. And I thought to myself, if this is the worst it's ever going to be, I love this. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So it was then and there that I knew that, you know, if I can get through this and survive, you know, on ramen noodles and
Right.
living a trash life and still be extremely happy, you know, it was everything I wanted out of life for sure.
What was the period of time between that band and the genesis of Crobot? What did that look like? How did you transition between those two? And was there downtime?
Yeah, there was a little. I moved around a little bit. I tried college again. I was like, maybe I should have a backup plan, but this time I'm going to do music, you know. And I went to a pretty reputable school, and tried doing the whole music teacher thing, and I just quickly realized like there's way too many hoops of fire to jump through for me
Right.
to make this work. Um, but you know, I joined up and was in a band with my uncle for a good while. I was actually playing bass and
Oh wow.
singing. That's when I picked up the bass. I'm like, I want to learn how to play the bass. So I played bass and sang as a three piece in a cover band with my uncle, and did that for a couple years. And then I joined another cover band playing bass. And actually, that's how I met Bishop, our guitar player. Um, I was in a cover band, and his cover band had their bass player left the group, and the rest of his band was like, "Oh, we really like this guy, you know, this Brandon guy that we found. We should hit him up and see if he'd be willing to, you know, come join the band." And they hit me up, and I'm like, nah, I don't think so. I'm going to stick with these guys, because at this point, the guys in the band that I was with had told me, you know, our singer's kind of dipping out within the next couple months. We think we're going to try to get a bass player and move you to front man. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to front
Right.
band. So I'm like, no, I'm going to stick with these guys, because I'm going to be fronting this project soon. So I'm going to stay here. And then Bishop was like, all right, well, screw that guy. And then the rest of the guys were like, no, we got to get him. You got to call him back and get him. He's like, I ain't calling that guy back. So the other guitar player called me back and said, we really want you to just come audition, check it out. And the singer of that band was actually a very well-known guy around the area. Nick Coyle was in the band Lifer, who was the band before Breaking Benjamin. And Breaking Ben is basically Lifer with Ben Burnley singing. So I knew Nick Coyle, and he was somebody that I looked up to and idolized, and that was the singer of Bishop's cover band. Got there, I auditioned and loved it, and we all hit it off, and I ended up joining his cover band. And then it was like 2 months later, Nick was actually, I think, making something again with the Breaking Ben guys that he was in Lifer with. They did like I think it was called Stardog Champion or something. So he ended up going to an original project with those guys, and Bishop and I were like, well, I mean, we've just got done spending the last 2 months driving 2 hours, you know, to practice every week, you know, if not more days than one a week. We got to know each other really well in a short period of time. So we're like, you want to start a band together? And he's like, yeah. You know, never saw me front, never really heard me sing other than doing backups. So props to Bishop for taking the chance on me. But that's how we met. So Crobot started in like 2011. So we're about 11 years
What
into
kind
it.
of stuff were you guys doing in this cover band?
Oh, we were doing like top 40 stuff.
Dance music.
Um,
Like
but dance, but still like The Cure and still like Nine Inch Nails and still
Yeah.
cool stuff. You know, it was like doing the casino style circuit.
Yeah.
You know, stuff that the masses enjoy.
Interesting. Yeah, he did take a chance. I mean, I guess it wasn't like
Yeah, for sure.
you guys were signing papers or anything straight away with one another.
No. We were practicing in my living room.
Nice. What were those first writing sessions like?
Easy, and that's why I think we just stuck with it, because it was so easy to make music together. I mean, we pretty much grew up with the same upbringing. You know, we have very similar characteristics when it comes to, you know, how our personalities are. And I think we realized that right away, but more so than anything, we realized that our musical taste was very similar and on point. And we just, you know, grew up listening to the same stuff and found it really easy to write together. So it just kind of all happened naturally. We didn't have to think about it. So it just, you know, we just continued with it. I mean, we wrote so many songs, and we still do. We're still the same way. We just write and write and write and write. And at this point, we probably have, my God, probably close to 300, 400 songs that we've
there
written
are a lot of
together.
songs
So,
that haven't made records.
oh
Do you
yeah,
demo everything,
yeah.
or are they just captured on iPhones? And
We mostly demo everything, you know, whether it's stuff from 10 years ago that's just demoed in the room with a room mic
Yeah.
sort of thing. But I mean, in the last probably 8 years, we've always demoed stuff. And that's something we've always had our finger on the pulse of being able to record in the box, in whatever capacity we could. You know, we started out with like doing it on Ableton Live, and we've graduated to Logic now, but we've always messed around with the production stuff and doing it ourselves.
What was the first song that you guys wrote together?
The first song we ever wrote was Legend of the Spaceborne Killer, which is, you know, it's a staple. It's a Crobot staple. Yeah, that's the first song we ever wrote together.
Has the process changed for you guys?
Not really. I mean, the only thing that's really changed is we're usually never in the same room together when we do it nowadays. But it still starts the same. Still starts with a Bishop riff, and I just kind of mush mouth, and that's how Legend of the Spaceborne Killer happened. That's just something that came out of my mouth. Legend of the Spaceborne Killer, and I don't know where it came from, but
it's a
I don't know
a
where
little
much
bit of the
this comes
fantasy
from.
Dio influence coming.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
So COVID era, quarantine kind of era, the last 2.5 years, obviously it was hard for people to get in a room together. Were you guys already sort of heading in that direction because of life stuff, where you were, and technology sort of allows you to operate like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, we try to demo everything, so everything runs through Logic mostly. I mean, there's absolutely mounds of voice memo melodies that I have and stuff like that, but when it comes to building songs and ideas, we like to document it at all times, because I'm sure, you know, like, you just never take for granted the fact that you're going to remember something, because it doesn't happen that way,
you
right?
can feel so much conviction about something in the moment, like, this is fucking killer, I am not gonna forget this. No, record it.
Yep. Yeah, so we realized that very early on, and I think, but also that was just the motions that we went through constantly. We were constantly recording and doing it that way. And even on the road, you know, we would in dressing rooms, we were always working on stuff whenever we had time. So we always tried to stay productive in whatever capacity, whether it's on the road or at home. But COVID definitely made things different. But I kind of think maybe different in a good way, because I mean, you look at the last 10 years, we've toured so much, and COVID gave us this opportunity to really sit back and really work on songs and really just flip things inside out and upside down. And when we got into the studio for the latest record, nothing really changed. When we gave everything to Jay Rustin, it was like, all right, let's make this sound good. Let's make this sound the best that it can, because everything's mostly there. The changes didn't need to be made. We didn't even pre-pro for the latest record.
Songs were there.
We went in and we started recording.
Incredible. Uh-oh, we froze. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to say. Oh. If for any reason we freeze, or my view window, you see a thing that says, video is dead because of slow internet, just keep talking. Don't be alarmed, because we're on this like locked in timeline. So
no worries.
In those early, we'll just say months, because at the genesis of things, you have a lot of excitement and you feel like you're building some momentum. You're telling folks. Months feel like a very long time. What kind of excitement do you guys have behind it? Are you getting together all the time, and how quickly do you play a show?
Anymore, I usually fly in a week early, because inevitably something goes wrong before tour. So it's like, all right, I'm going to get here early enough to see what goes wrong, hopefully help fix it, and practice. So we've been practicing the last 3 days. Today's our last day of practice. We got to hit the road because we got to drive to Reno, which is going to be like a 2-day affair from Austin. So we usually practice, like 3 days, 2-3 days before we head out. I mean, obviously when we're out and we're, not taking a year and a half, 2 years off, we don't have to practice near as much because we play a lot. So, and like when you take it to the stage, it's a completely different animal. I don't care how much you practice in your garage. It's never going to be as taxing as it is on the stage. So that's hard to practice.
Are you guys
on
in-ears? That helps.
Yeah.
Some.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh God, the era of wedges is so brutal.
Sure.
I mean, we're still wedges, but that's brutal. It's brutal to hear everything if you don't have an incredible monitor mix. It's just you're just kind of like
it's too much sometimes.
I hope
right?
This is okay. So in the very beginning of the band, what was that energy like when you're excited about it? It's just the two of you. How quickly does a band come together? How quickly do you guys play a show?
Oh, in the infancy? I think I can't remember how short of a time it was between the inception to playing, but it wasn't long. I mean, we did covers for a while, though. I will say, like, we did covers for years where we would just do cover shows like we knew how to do. Like, we were just building capital for the band. That's the way we looked at it. We would play cover shows, and we did the casino circuit, and we squeezed that lemon until the juice ran dry, because we were playing what we wanted to play. We were playing The Doors. We were playing Zeppelin. We were playing Rage Against the Machine. We were playing all the songs that we knew we could kind of toe the line with. And it's like after every show we'd play, they'd be like, you guys are great, but you got to play like
Right.
more Bon Jovi, like more Katy Perry. And we're like, sure, yeah. Next time we come, we'll have all that stuff learned. Next time we show up,
Right.
we just play more originals, and we just did that until everybody caught on. Really.
How important do you think I didn't never played in a cover band until I had been in original bands for years. And I had a lightning bolt
Yeah.
moment where I was like, "Oh, I could have been making money doing this like the whole time I had a job that I hated." But also,
Yeah.
it did something for my ear and for me
Yeah.
musically that I never knew was possible. Learning hundreds of songs, how valuable do you think that was to your personal story?
Oh, extremely. I mean, not only that, but I mean, I was playing shows before I was writing music, really, and I think that that lent being comfortable on stage and being comfortable getting a crowd into a show, playing to a crowd, and just trying to keep the live energy up. And it's easy when you're playing Bon Jovi and everybody knows every word to every song. That's easy, that's not hard work at all. But when you go from Bon Jovi to an original song, and I mean, we're talking like we're still Crobot. We still sounded like
Right.
Crobot 11 years ago. So we're going from living on a prayer to Spaceborne Killer.
Right.
It's quite a jump, but we made it work. We had to make it work. And even in the early stages, as well, we would play with every band we could play with. It didn't matter. Like, and in the scene from where I grew up, it was heavy. Like, I'm talking real heavy stuff. So we would play with these bands, and we would be the odd band out, and we didn't care. We knew it was a challenge to us. We would accept it and be like, all right, well, we gotta turn these heavy metal guys onto us, and then the next show would be like, all right, well, we got to turn these Bon
Right.
Jovi fans onto us. It was always a constant struggle of trying to get people to I don't want to say it was a struggle for people to accept us. I think we did our best, but it was a challenge for sure, and that led to being comfortable in a lot of situations, albeit like we played overseas with Volbeat, and it was a stadium arena tour overseas. And I'll never forget the first night we played was Denmark, where they're from, sold out,
Yep.
16,000 people. And we get up there on stage and we start playing, and we don't now again we don't have a light guy, we don't have a sound guy. So we're up there and it's just us and our amps, and we're whitewashed on stage the entire time, and you could hear a pin
It's
drop between
fucking
songs. It
brutal.
was like, wow. Yeah. Yeah. But I think we were calloused at that point. At least Bishop and I were calloused to, man, I remember playing a show early on in Crobot for like 5 people. And one of those 5 people was throwing straws at us the entire night. I'm serious. And Bishop jumped off stage after this guy, like,
Right.
like he was ready to go. And it ended up being, it was this crazy story. It was like a drunk bartender that actually worked there. We're like, dude,
Right.
come on, you should know better than this. You're throwing straws at us the whole
I don't have a lot of
set,
tolerance for that kind of shit either.
But
Good on you, Bishop.
yeah, it was, and Bishop's like a very down to earth guy. Like that's the one and only time I've ever seen him on 10, like anger. The only time.
Yeah.
But we've dealt with it. We've dealt with it before. We've reflected on those sort of experiences, and we brought them to those kind of shows. So I think being in a cover band actually had so much value in where we are today, and it's crazy to think, but it has definitely calloused us.
There's nothing cooler than doing a festival. Do you remember your first festival, like big festival show? Like there's nothing cooler
Yeah. Oh yeah.
than being on the stage wherever. download or something, and playing for, fill in the
Yeah.
blank, 60,000, whatever is there. But if you don't have a catalog of songs like Def Leppard, it kind of fucking doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's great and it
Yeah.
looks cool, but the moments when the crowd is fully with you is transcendent. I dream
Mm-hmm.
about, like,
Absolutely.
what do you think it's like for a band like Def Leppard or Guns N' Roses or AC/DC, where every song you get so much back?
It's a dream. It's gotta be, I mean, that energy is what we have chased our entire lives. So to actually get there and to have climbed the mountain and see that, man, I mean, we've had snippets of it, thankfully. It's on a much smaller scale for sure, but we played our first sold out show in Spain. It's crazy. It's like our first time over in Europe. We saw Spain on the schedule. We're like,
Spain is incredible.
Did they even release our record in Spain?
I love Spain.
And we got there, and it was 250 people sold out. Albeit again a way smaller scale. But they were singing the words to the songs louder than I could hear myself. Like they were louder than I was, and it was just one of those moments where it was like, that's it. I could die tomorrow, and that's it. Like I've just been completely justified. So on that scale, I can't even imagine, and it's every night for those guys. But maybe that goes into the complacency too. Once because it's the chase.
Dragon.
It's all about
chasing
chase,
the dragon.
Right? Right. So once you get there, it's like, how do you keep yourself motivated at that point? I mean, I fully feel in my being that I would stay highly motivated for that every night, but maybe that goes into it.
What
I don't know.
Since we're on the subject of shows, and we'll go back in the timeline. Do you have a pre-show ritual? Do you do vocal warm-ups and yeah?
Yeah. I'm pretty prude when it comes to life on the road. I don't drink very often at all. I'm not a drinker to begin with, but for whatever reason, I have it in my head, and I think it's more of a keeping myself in line sort of thing. But I just have in my head that you can't drink, man, because your next show is going to be affected if you take one sip.
Probably true.
So I usually stay pretty straight and narrow. We do the whole sleep in the van park in Planet Fitness parking lot.
You guys all have Planet Fitness, so you guys shower at Planet Fitness. Oh,
yes, sir. And we wake up, we're in the parking lot. I get a workout in, I get a shower. It's life on the road actually is sometimes healthier than life at home because of that's how we keep it. We eat as healthy as we can. We
not always easy to eat healthy when you're driving through.
No,
Nebraska.
Not at all. It is very hard. Yes. Yeah. You get that look from the gas station attendant that says, bananas? We don't have any bananas.
What do you do when there's not a Planet Fitness on the route or in the town where you're playing? Do you guys route yourselves so that you find that?
No. I mean, we have the luxury of being able to sleep wherever in the van because we have 6 bunks in there, and that's we could say, oh man, I'm too tired to drive a single mile, and we're just gonna pull over at the next wherever and sleep. And we do that fairly often, but for the most part, we all take turns driving. We usually are pretty efficient about getting there.
You're pulling a trailer.
And we just genuinely like waking up and being able to work out. But if we don't, then, we just make it work. I'll do workouts at the venue. I'll do beach body videos or whatever, the
Right.
T25, the insanity stuff, and that
shit will
suffices
mess
for
you
sure.
up. You guys
Yeah.
are rolling a Sprinter? Is that what I'm putting together?
Yep. We got a cargo Sprinter that we put bunks in. We modified ourselves, and that's our home on the road. And when we've actually had quite a bit of van trouble lately, and we have been without it for the last couple tours, and it affects everything. It affects our well-being. It affects, because then at that point we had to rent a van and we'd have to stay in hotels every night, and it's just so expensive. And the bottom line is just, it's just disgusting how much money you just piss away doing that stuff.
The business of music can be really distracting from the excitement of performing. How?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, I imagine when you guys decided you were going to buy a van, that was you probably dropped 45 grand on this fucking thing, right? It's a diesel. Is it? Really? You got a used
14.
one? Yeah.
We got it for 14 grand. And this is the story of how we got the loan to do so. So Bishop, our guitar player, his now wife, Kira, her mother works at a credit union, a local credit union, and had a Christmas party. And they asked us to play acoustic. And we said, absolutely, we'll play acoustic at your Christmas party. And in doing so, the CEO of the company came up to us when we were playing. It's like, if you play Home Sweet Home, I would be by Motley Crue. I would be complete. And we're like, well, how complete would you be if we play Home Sweet Home? You give us a loan. Then we played Home Sweet Home. We got a loan.
Sweet loan.
And now we have a Sprinter van.
Wow.
Sweet loan.
It was a local buy?
Yeah. It was Philly area. We had to venture a little bit to get it. What had its
previous life
we bought it.
been?
Actually, just found this out yesterday. Cleaning the van, opened up a cubby hole that I never knew existed, and apparently a waterproofing expert had the van before us. So that's what it did before we had it. Before six dudes.
Is it in Austin with you now? Oh yeah, good.
Yes.
Some people maybe who haven't toured or might be wondering, like, why are they talking about a van so much? But it is, it's a member of the band.
It's a livelihood,
right? Does it have a name?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It has many names. Kurt Russell is the one we go with most, because it's all white. So we just wanted to pick the whitest name that we could, and it turned out to be Kurt Russell.
What era of Kurt Russell do you think your van most? Yeah, good.
Oh, Escape from New York for sure.
Yeah.
It's mostly limping on one leg. Until we're trying to save the president. We're trying real hard.
This is good. What was life like before the van, before the Sprinter?
Before the van. Oh. Lots of bed bugs.
Ouch.
Lots of bed bugs. Yeah, I don't know how, but we just became magnets to bed bugs. And it was, I genuinely don't think that we carried the same bed bugs with us. It was like, and it would be the nicest hotels. Scary enough. It's the nicest hotels, because we would stay at the Roadway and we would have a problem, but we'd stay at the Quality Inn, Comfort Inn, the nice ones, and that's where we'd get them. It'd be It'd be nuts. And mostly
Yeah.
New York and New Jersey. but
Sure.
but we've gotten them other places too. But yeah, that was the harsh part of reality, is like, oh man, bed bugs again. So we had this regimen where we would just go into a place. First thing we'd do is we'd flip the mattress. We'd check it out, and even still, it
We had a
wouldn't save us.
routine in one of my bands where we would take the little plastic cups that come in the bag, as a wrapper, like a plastic. You open that up, and you put the
Yeah, yeah.
remote inside of it. You don't touch the remote because,
Oh,
because gross.
yeah.
Man.
Do they ever sanitize
now
that thing?
I think so.
They do now.
Now
it comes in its own
gets
plastic bag,
sanitized,
right?
Yeah. Ultra. Right.
That's the silver lining.
How long before you guys made your first record? And you guys did this yourselves?
The very first record we did, we self-produced. We worked out of a very local studio that no longer exists, in actually where I still live to this day. We put it out ourselves and did the whole promotion ourselves. And I remember passing it out at shows, like going to shows and just being in the crowd. And we'd go to see bands that we genuinely loved, but we also knew that were similar to us, so we'd just go mingle and try to push the band. And that record actually led us to getting our booking agent, Melanie, who we still work with today. That record really just helped us get out there.
How long before you guys were getting the kind of attention that you feel like was really game changing for you?
I don't know. It's hard to say, because we've always approached every show like we need to tear this mother down, and we played every show like it was to thousands of people, even if there were only 15. And one of those shows was called a Millennium Music Conference that they have in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, very close to where I'm from. And it was like one of those serendipitous moments where we were supposed to play this one place, and they're like, "Oh, sorry guys, we double booked the night, and we're gonna have to move you over to this venue." But the venue they moved us to was like a little annexed room at the hub, like at the hotel that the whole conference was based out of. And this conference was like a citywide thing. Like there was many, many, many venues who were in on this music conference. And we actually got moved to the hub where all the keynote speakers were at, and that sort of, all those things were going down. So, but we played this show for 15 people, and Lou Playa, who owned Reverb Nation. I'm pretty sure he still owns Reverb Nation, but back, you're talking 11 years ago, Reverb Nation, when it was like Reverb Nation was the thing for unsigned artists to get discovered and put themselves out there. He was in the crowd, and the owner of our booking agency was in the crowd. And I'm telling you, they were 2 of the 15 people in that room that night. And we played the show like there were thousands of people there. Were approached afterwards. They were like, "I don't know who you guys are, but what I just saw was pretty awesome, and we're going to be in touch." And fast forward like 3-4 months into the future, we ended up booking some random show in New York City the very first time we ever played New York City, and got a call on our way there. "Hi, this is Melanie from TKO Agency. I want to come out to your show tonight to check you guys out. Can can you put me on the guest list? And we're like, I don't even know how to do that. And we got there and we showed up and we started bringing our drums in to the club. And the club owner's like, what are those? We're like, drums? He's like, oh, you can't use those here. And we're like, what? What do you mean we can't use these here? He's like, I got tenants upstairs, man. You can't be drumming here. We're like, what is going on here? We booked a rock show. We've got a booking agent coming out to watch us tonight. Like, we have to play. Like, we're playing this show. You booked us to play this show. This is, and this has turned out to be a really extremely important gig for us. So we've got to play. And he's like, all right, well, I'm just telling you, if it gets too loud, I'm going to have to shut you guys down. It's like, all right, we'll take our chances. So we played 2.5 songs and he's like, that's it. Too loud. You guys got to stop. That's it. We're like, you got to be kidding me. We didn't even know at that point that Melanie showed up. Nothing. But we get approached after the show. Melanie introduced herself. She's like, I saw all I needed to see. It's like,
where was this?
Oh, God. I want to say it was a place called like 12th and Porter or something of the sort. It was just a venue in a basement somewhere. And, the act that opened up for us was like this electronic, like drum machine, one keyboard sort of setup. So I understand if that's what this guy's used to when we bring an entire drum set and and 410 orange cabs.
Oh, that's awesome.
I can see the issue.
That's like a milestone moment, and good for you for staying with.
I mean, we had to. We drove from Pennsylvania. We drove probably in my dad's truck or something. Who knows? At that point, we didn't have vehicles. Actually, I think we probably crammed everything into our bass player's Volvo, if I remember correctly. So we were already there. I mean, we drove and we just were like, no, whatever chance this is, we're taking it. We'll deal with it because we're already here.
What was the first thing that you guys did once you had a booker? You had a booker before you had a record deal. Great.
Yeah, we did. We played with Buck Cherry at the Infinity Live Stadium in Philly. That was like the first gig she ever got us, and then we were like, wow.
What year is that?
This is what it's like, Probably 2011. I want to say 2011, 2012. Might have even been 2012 at that point. But yeah, awesome. It was Buck Cherry, Lit, and us. Yeah. It was and it was a great gig. It was outside. I remember it was cold as hell. You could see all of our breath. It was a nuts one, but it was great. It was great. And again, like our experience of like, if this is what it's like, this is for us.
How long before you guys were able to find someone to put your music out?
We had put out, we put together a music video. We had a mutual friend, had some connections with some videographers, and we filmed a video for Legend of the Spaceborne Killer, which was off of our self-produced album. And one of our fans entered us into Play the Grammys or something, some sort of contest. And the A&R guy from Wind Up Records had a friend of his that said, hey, my band's on this we put our video on this Win the Grammys thing. Go check us out. So he did. He checked his buddy's band out. He got up and walked away from his computer, and our video was the next video that played. And he heard it, and he's like, what the hell is this? He went back to his computer. He watched the video and watched us and watched our social media sites for like 3 weeks. And thankfully, he didn't see the inner turmoil going on. We had a bass player at the time who was like going to jail, and we're like, all right, we got to figure this situation out. And we never made it public. And thankfully, we didn't, because Windup's A&R guy was watching our socials for 3 weeks while we were going through this inner turmoil, and contacted us, sent us an email saying, hey, Sean Cohen here from Windup Records. Been watching you guys for a couple weeks. Saw the video, laid the whole story on us, and we were like, oh shit, we don't even have a band. They want us to come showcase for Windup Records at Arlene's Grocery, and we don't even have a band. So one of the bands we were playing with at the time, we knew that they were trying to make the move to LA and do it in LA, and so we called them up. We're like, hey, I know you guys are trying to move and do this music thing, but kind of got this opportunity right here that got thrown on our laps. Do you want to join the band and try to make this work? So they said yes, and we practiced in my living room for a month straight, got everything down, got it tight, did the showcase, and got the record deal.
How did it feel momentous, or did it feel like just another step?
It was just like the haphazard whirlwind that we were used to at that point. But at the same time, it's just like, how did this happen? Like, how did this happen? It's just, there have been so many serendipitous events that have led us to where we are today that, we never take for granted. And we still play every show like it's our last, because you just never know. And if there's one thing that I tell any young band that's like asking for advice of any kind, it's like, play every show that you can, anywhere, with anybody, for anyone, and play it like it's your last, because you never know who's going to be in that audience. You just never know. And it's been that way for us so many times, that just the right person was in the audience that saw us play and has since become a champion and campaigner of the band. And we're super grateful for all of those people in our lives, because we would not have been, I genuinely think that we would have gotten somewhere at some point, because that's just the kind of people we are. We will just work.
Sure.
We will just work our asses off on everything and anything. So I think the hard work would have eventually paid off, but it paid off early, and we'll never take that for granted.
I know that there are a lot of difficult moments along the path. There are, probably the first time you went to Europe, you probably didn't have a tour manager. You probably were doing it yourself, I'm guessing.
And we actually were great.
Nice.
We were actually had one.
That's
so
good.
So we had somebody holding our hands.
Has there ever been a moment, or have there been moments along the way where you had at least considered, I don't know how this can continue? Never.
No.
Good for you.
Never. We've always been in the mindset of,
right, make it work.
I don't know how we're going to get through this, but we are. We'll look back at this 2 years from now and laugh. That's how we look at things. It's just, whatever it is now,
right,
it's not going to matter 2 years from now. And we just keep plugging away. Just like, honestly, like right now, like, we've spent close to $30,000 trying to fix our van, and it's still not really fixed.
Did you have to get a new motor?
We're driving. Yeah, we had to get a new motor, which didn't solve the problem.
Motor problem.
And it's this crazy thing that we've been told by the last guy. He's never seen anything like this before. Of course, never seen anything like this before. Our van is a diesel, and I'll just give you the long short of it. Our van is a diesel, and the default troubleshooting mode that any diesel goes in is Limp Mode. and it can be a short somewhere in circuitry. It can be it can be the gas or the fuel cap being off. It can be something as catastrophic as like the transmission's going. But the default mode that it goes into when all these things are happening is called limp mode. So our van, we actually, the first place we took it to broke our engine. And, you know, this is all because of a botched service. You know, we took it to a place, we had some glow plug issues. We had some broken glow plugs. Turns out they were going to try to pull them out. They said, hey, listen, you know, this could be catastrophic if we pull them out, and we can't get them all the way out. Pulled them out, of course, they can't get them all the way out. So they could not fix our van. They said, listen, we don't know what's going on. The van won't go over 25 miles an hour. We don't know what to do. And we're like, you're called the Sprinter Repair Service Center. You don't know what to do? So we took it to Mercedes. Mercedes says, you need a new engine. So we said, okay, give us a new engine. Got a new engine. You know, problem still persists. You know, last place also fried the computer. Well, what are we dealing with right now? We're dealing with a chip shortage. So we waited months to get a computer, put the new computer in.
So there's a sensor somewhere
still doing the same
mounted
thing
on the inside of the engine compartment.
The cheat code that if you turn the key real quick, it resets the computer system, which is what takes it out of limp mode. You have to turn it off and turn it back on to reset the computer, and that takes it out of limp mode. So we found this cheat code for our van, and like it's not going to hurt it. Apparently, we ran it over with the tuner guy that we've been taking it to lately, and he said, yeah, you're not going to hurt the van. I mean, you know, and it's like the other thing is like with this limp mode, it usually throws a code as to like, okay, you know, we're not just chasing a ghost here. This is exactly what's wrong with it. But our van is not throwing any code of any kind. So it's like there's a ghost in the machine and that's where the guy said, I've never seen this before. Usually when it goes into limp mode, it throws a code and we know exactly where to start. And ours is, I mean, he drove it. We took it to him to be like, okay, check this out one last time before we leave. Took it to him. It was in limp mode when he parked it and did the diagnostic off the computer, and it had no code. So he's like, I don't know what to tell you. We're just going to have to start throwing shit at the wall. So, you know, the struggle is real and it continues.
So eventually you'll have to just go through systematically and replace every sensor.
Well, we replaced every sensor with the engine overhaul. So all the sensors, I mean, all the engine sensors are new. He sort of thinks it's like an electrical thing, maybe somewhere with the wiring harness, or it's the transmission, or I mean, it's just, it could be a number of things, because like I said, it's just the default mode that it goes into when something's wrong for it to not, you know, royally screw up anything else. So and I mean, it does this like every 10 minutes when we drive it. So it's, it's the other thing. It's like one of those things where he said, yeah, just drive it till it breaks, because until it breaks, we don't know what's wrong with it. So our best case scenario for this tour is that our van leaves us sitting somewhere, that we know what's wrong with it. Because if we were to rent a van, we wouldn't be able to do this tour. Like we're stretched so thin, and you know, we've spent $30,000 in a time period when we just got done sitting for 2.5 years, and it's just like
not making.
You know
money.
what I mean? It's there's always a struggle. And when you said like the business side of things that we want to try to forget, that's why I laughed, because this is the business side of things that we wish we didn't have to deal with right now. But the fact of the matter is, we would not be able to tour if we didn't have this van, and we just have to make it work. That's what we do.
The magic trick of all of it is making finances work. Like if you don't have to spend money, you know, like none of us are getting rich going on tour. If you don't have to spend too much money to go on tour, That's the first great trick to pull
Mhm.
off. The second great trick is to have all these expenses back, like become a fucking tour accountant and not have any of the stress of that be evident to the audience.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. As soon as we're done a show, you know, we have a tour manager, and the tour manager is also our merch guy, and he's great at, like micromanaging all that stuff. But at the end of the night, like him and I sit in the van, we count the money, we do, I do the spreadsheet, I do the budgeting. Like I'm the accountant as well. So,
Right.
and today you have to wear many hats. You have to wear all the hats as far as we're concerned. And that's another way we approach things, is that we try to keep everything in house. I'm the accountant. Bishop's our art guy. Like, he's the art director. Like, everything that has to do with imagery and art wise goes through him. Like, all the merch items, he draws everything. I've just started seriously pursuing videography, so now we're doing most of that in house.
Oh wow.
So we try
What are you using?
do everything that we can.
What are you using to edit your videos?
Premiere Pro.
That's probably what I should do.
Yeah. And only because the crew that I'm working with, I'm sort of apprenticing under. They use Premiere Pro. I've heard great many things about DaVinci. I haven't tried DaVinci, but I've worked in Final Cut before as well. So it's all relative.
Right. On this tour that you guys are about to go out on, are you bringing a sound person, or are you using one of the other band's sound or house sound?
We mostly use house sound because we can't afford a front house guy.
Sure, man.
Yeah.
And are you able to coerce, like, that's the great trick, is to get the headlining band's light person to, like, hey, can I toss you a couple bucks and you like twiddle the knobs for us?
Yep. We sometimes have that opportunity. We do know that this next tour, that opportunity is not there. We've pursued those avenues. So we're just gonna have to deal with the crapshoot that is the house sound guys. Sometimes it's great.
Sure.
But sometimes it's like, no, you're going to be whitewashed tonight and no light show.
Right. How has your approach to, after that first experience getting up there and you're just like white lights, washed out in white lights and bad sound, and you're just like, all right, well, there's that experience. How has your approach changed? Because you can approach the house person and you can say, hey, will you just give us some dim mood lights? Or I mean, has your approach changed? Do you try to give direction, or are you just like, if I try to give direction, I'm just going to get under this person's skin, so I'm going to fuck off?
Yeah, we try to give them a set list and be like, underline after this song, count them, after the third song, if you can cut the lights, because now we're at the point where we are trying to become Spinal Tap more and more with every tour. So now we have props, and we got a dragon, and we got these whole shtick bits of me pulling a sword from a stone, and we never have had our own light guy, so we're trying to like walk everybody through our theatrics.
Right.
And it's just like, it's a crapshoot every night. So we got to be on our toes just as much, because we never know what the light guy is going to do, what he's not going to do. Are they even going to be playing our intro at volume when it starts? Like, we've learned all these things. So we just did an intro last night, a new intro for the next tour. And we're like, no, we should probably put 10 seconds of like noise, some sort of noise in there, that in case the sound guy doesn't hit the button right away or turn the fader up right away, we have a little bit of leeway. So it goes into everything. That's
the kind of artistic choice that only a like only something going sideways will inform.
Absolutely.
That's
It's contingency
amazing.
plan built into everything.
Oh, that's incredible. I love that. What about going to Europe? Will you guys bring all the props and stuff with
No,
you?
unfortunately, we
Right.
won't. We have yet to figure that logistic out. I'm hoping that we can get over there early enough to like build something.
Right.
But the other thing is, like, we have fans that keep our merch in their garage. So it's like,
Oh,
how do
that's
you tell
amazing.
somebody, all right, can we keep our dragon in your garage?
Those are pretty good bragging rights, though. We've
Yeah,
got the
that's true.
Crobot dragon. Hey, you want to
We
see
got
the
Crobot's dragon in our garage.
You're at the bar. It's a great way to bring someone home. Hey, you ever seen Crobot's dragon? It's not in limp mode.
Love it.
Um, do you guys have, after this tour, what is the plan? Oh, will you guys be playing other than the two new songs? Will you guys be playing more new songs from the record on this tour, or is it a let's wait till it's out?
No, we always play new stuff even before it's recorded. That's how we test. We do the trial run, when live. Even before
Right.
we record it, we're never those guys that are like, oh, well, it's probably going to change, so you probably shouldn't put it out there. It's like, nah, whatever. Everything's forever on the internet, regardless.
Right.
So it's just deal with it, But
Sure.
that's how we test songs. We're a live band, so if something doesn't feel right in the room, it's probably not right.
Right. How long is this tour?
So we start. I think the first date is on Thursday with Danzig, and then we go through till the end of May, and then we release the record. We're going to do some press in between. I'm going to have like a couple days at home. I get to have my daughter's birthday party in like the 2 days that I'm going to be at home, so it was like timing's perfect. Go to New York City, do some press for the new record, and then we start a co-headlining tour with Shaman's Harvest until the end of June. So we're kind of like piggybacked two tours on top of each other, or right into each other, I should say.
Right.
So we'll be out until July.
And the record comes out June 3rd.
Yep.
The Set Me Free is a fucking banger. And
thanks, man.
If that doesn't take you guys to whatever the next place is, it's a testament to the unfairness of the world.
Or thank you.
Or the folly of everything that we're all going after.
Yeah. Well, we just, we look at it like we just want to stay relevant. We would love for our name to get bigger on those festival posters year after year, but if it doesn't, we'll just keep making music that hopefully people enjoy. So,
do you guys have plans to go to Europe this summer?
Yeah, well, not this summer, but before the year's over. Yeah, we have something that's penciled in. Hopefully around November, December.
Mm-hmm.
So we love overseas. We love touring overseas. We love touring America as well, but we are. I think we're more of a European, UK sounding band. So we've been thankfully very accepted over there, and seemingly having put in half the amount of time and gotten just as much out of it. So
and touring in the UK and Europe is kind of like touring the East Coast. Like there's no drive more than 4 hours. It's so great.
Yeah, it's really nice. But there's also nothing open after 10 o'clock. It's nothing but kebabs for us.
Right. Are you an early riser on tour?
Oh yeah, I'm the early morning driver. I keep this schedule. I try to wake up at 5 o'clock every morning when I'm home, and when I'm off.
5.
Yeah, 5 when I'm at home. because I'm still working too. When I'm home, I still work. I try to get up early enough to get a workout in and have coffee with the wife and get the kiddo up and get her fed and all that before we start a work day and you know do the normal people stuff. And I stay on
Is
that
your
schedule.
is your daughter in one of your videos?
Yeah. Yeah, she's in low life. I steal the lollipop from her. So I
Yeah.
steal the lollipop from my own child.
It's great. That video is fucking great too. But was she able to understand, like, okay,
Okay.
daddy's gonna come over here and take your candy, but we're gonna give you another one. This is for play.
Um,
Or was she bummed?
no, she was. It's hard to say because we
Right.
really think she was just genuinely tired, and we kind of gave the disclaimer like, "Hey, yeah, we'll bring her. We'll bring her around 6 o'clock, but just know that like towards 7:30, it's gonna take a turn." And of course, nothing stays on schedule when you're at a video shoot. So,
What,
of
things
course, it was
don't
like
go as according to plan?
it was like 8 o'clock at night, and we're still feeding her lollipops, and she's just she started to catch on real quick. And also her aunt Kira, Bishop's wife, was holding her too, which really helped.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Nicole, my wife, was like, all that ride home was terrible. She was so sugar high and screaming and crying, and but it was all for the good of the film.
Yeah, indeed. Where did you guys make that video?
We did it locally in a city called Hazleton, which is like 20 miles from where I live. It is actually like a TV studio, a TV studio that they use, which I didn't even know existed, and it was the due diligence of the video crew that found it.
Right.
So, but it worked out great. It was perfect.
The town where you're from,
Mhm.
how big is this town?
Well, I say I'm from Pottsville, which is, I want to say, like 10,000 maybe. But I actually live in a place called St. Clair, which is, I don't know, maybe 1,000, maybe
Right.
smaller. So it's a very small town, and the town I grew up in had 12 houses. So, um, super small town. My graduating class was like 87 or something like that. So,
That's giant, man.
yeah.
I came from a town with 52 kids in my graduating class. So
Really?
now we're on the
Wow.
same vibe.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh how do you think that being from a town so small has affected the way you've approached everything?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We always say we're a blue collar band, and I just genuinely think that that's because we've had to work for this. We've never had anything handed to us. I mean, my parents struggled, and I've known nothing but working through the struggle. So
Right.
I think that leads to it also leads to confidence that nothing's really going to deter us from doing what we want to do because we've been through it all. We've been through lawsuits, we've been through pandemics, now we've been through van issues. It's like, what else do you got? That's the way we look at things. It's like nothing is going to stop us outside of our own you know devices. We
Right.
are the only ones who say when this stops, and I think that that's because of our upbringing, and we've had to work for everything that we have.
Uh there are so many situations when you're traveling and playing in a band, especially when
Mhm.
you start to get into more elevated situations, right?
Mhm.
I grew up in a trailer,
Yeah.
and one of the things, like, when we were shopping for a house, we live in the Hudson Valley now. Uh I was like, all right, I don't want to have a I don't want to have a trailer for my neighbor, not because I don't because I know plenty of amazing people
Hmm.
who grew up in trailers or live in trailers in my hometown. And but I know that it'll affect my property value. Like we bought our house.
Yeah.
So, um, but there are a lot of situations where, in personally, I've been in, and I have to remind myself, like, you belong here.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in such a weird, small town. Do you have anything like that that you carry with you, or do you have did you have a natural confidence that allowed you to just say, I do belong here. I don't have to remind myself that I do.
No, I think, and even especially in my infancy as a musician, it took me a while to take that step. I mean, I practiced in my room for a long time before I had the confidence to even step outside the bedroom to to play, and I would say that, but that's something that I carry with me, but also that, we don't take anything for granted, and I don't need much to survive. That's the other thing that I take with me, is that I don't need all this stuff. This stuff is nothing but shit that I throw in a drawer and forget about. What do I actually need to survive? And that was going back to the first tour that I ever did, of like, all right, I have $8 to eat with for the next 3 days. Like, how am I going to make this work? It's taught me financial things. It's taught me, fortitude, and just staying on the path of that, in the confidence that hard work will always pay off. And that's sort of what I've saw in my upbringing, and that guys like us, we have to work for what we have. So I've always kept that motivation of, well, listen, somebody somewhere along the line has things way easier than I have, and I've got to work twice as hard to get where this guy's at. So, I can't stop. You know.
And there's also people who have it way harder, and so
Yeah, for sure.
who are doing it and
Yeah, I
thriving.
mean, Keanu Reeves' story is like, you look at that dude and it's like, all right, this isn't so bad. I don't have it so tough. It's like, whew,
Yeah.
man, what some people have gone through, I could never, have imagined. But in the little, and now seemingly little struggle when compared to some people, this is nothing. I am able to eat every day, and I do have running water, and it's just crazy to think that people in the world don't have either of those things, or have to fight, literally fight for those things.
Right.
It's just wild.
Yes. Yeah. Uh, what is the craziest place that music has taken you? Where is the craziest place?
Um, I'd say overseas. I say all the time that 15/16 of what I've seen, geographically, I would have never seen, other than being there in music. In the early days of Crobot, we played residency in Alaska. I
Oh,
would.
rad. Where at? Did you guys play Chilcoots?
Yes, we did.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Chilkoot Charlie's, hell yeah.
Oh,
4 weeks, stayed in the band house.
You guys stayed in the little cabin there?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, we had the cops show up at our
Man.
party. It was a real deal. We were there in January, buddy.
Yeah, we were there in February.
Oh yeah, no, it's.
So I feel you.
Had you been in that kind of cold before?
What's that?
Had you ever been in that kind of cold before?
No, I mean Canada, but not like that. But even still, like, I was so surprised that you'll know from being a northeaster, it was not the same kind of cold. Like, I'd walk out in my shorts, and it was like this doesn't feel as bad as Pennsylvania. Oddly enough.
It was 30 below when I was there.
Oh God, yeah. No, it was below, but not that far below.
I'd never, like if you spat when it hit the ground, it sounded like a rock hit the ground. It was crazy. Did you guys go up? Did you guys just play in Anchorage?
Yeah, we just played in Anchorage for like 4 weeks, I think it was.
That's crazy. Crazy shit goes down there too. It's a great club.
Oh yes.
And
oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, we took the trip. We took the 2-hour trip out in the wilderness.
Oh yeah.
It was crazy. It was a crazy time. One of the craziest times of my life.
There's what is the town up?
Where the Northern Lights are.
We played in another town there, and they just gave us a van. They're like, "Here's your van. You just go up, just up the highway, get a map at the service station or whatever, and you go, you drive all day. You get to this Quonset hut that is a rock club in Fairbanks.
Fairbanks, that's it. Fairbanks,
and,
yep.
They're just fucking beasts on the highway, and they don't give a fuck about you. They just, it's not like a deer where they're like, oh shit, I'm going to get out of the road. They just post up and they're like, come, let's go. Come on, bro. But it was so cold, man. It was so cold that, it was a brand new, like 15 passenger van. Our breath, it was, blowing heat.
Yeah.
But our breath, the condensation we had to get an ice scraper for the inside of the windows.
Oh my God.
And we were terribly underprepared. We had to go to we went to the thrift store and like bought more clothes. I had every article of clothing on. It was crazy. But tell me a little bit, tell me a family or a PG-13 story from Chilcoots that you don't mind sharing, because it's a legendary place. So many people. I have a friend that just went up there and did a comedy show, actually.
Oh, yeah? It's great for comedy. Yeah. I mean, they love their comedy up there. They love anything, really, but God, a PG story? The one was great. We were playing like 3 hours a night, right? And we were playing Led Zeppelin. I can't remember what song it was, like probably The Ocean or something. And the natives were out, and they're obviously don't have the lineage of drinking alcohol as much as we have the
European alcohol making drinking people.
Yes. It's in our DNA, right? It's not in theirs.
Right.
And there were only like 5 people in the audience, one of them being this very wasted woman who decided that she was going to come up on stage and sing with me. Oh. Well, she only made it about 2 steps and fell flat on her face. Oh, and it was pretty rough. Yeah. It's pretty rough for her, more than it was for us, but there was a lot of that.
At least it's a sawdust floor.
Oh yeah.
Cushions the fall.
And the bras, right? All those bras.
Yeah, all of them. All of the bra. What?
I might get cut off here. I only got a little bit left on my phone.
Oh, okay.
I didn't plug it in.
You know what?
Just a disclaimer.
We've had an hour and a half, and we've devolved into Chilcoot Charlie stories. So, tell me quickly when the record comes out. I'll plug the tour and the record up at the top.
Cool.
Cool. And anything about the record that you want to add and the upcoming tours.
Record comes out June 3rd. Feel This. We worked with Jay Rustin. We made a rock and roll record about rock and roll. So if you like rock and roll, check it out.
I like that. Yeah. I like that. I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled because I've never seen you guys play live, and I sure would like to.
Yeah, yeah. When we come through, just hit me up, man. Come see
Also,
us.
thank you so much for kicking so much ass on the Starship Trooper video.
Oh, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. What I had so much fun doing it, and to be in amongst the list of names that you had on that project is just an honor in and of itself for me. Absolutely. So thank you for having me a
I
part
should
of it.
thank Alex for introducing us and putting us together for that project. Also,
Yeah,
coolest.
Alex is a great guy.
Dude.
Love
I'm
him.
gonna kill this.